Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Guys, this is your quick tip of the week. So you see the swimming pool of water underneath the spare tire here. So what is happening is the water is leaking in through the tail light gasket. So here was dampness, same thing on the other side. So this isn't the first time I've dealt with this. I've seen this many other times with other cars. You'll see the tail lights full or half full of water, and because it's leaking in through the gasket. So here's the gasket here. There's some wetness down here that is tough to see, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to replace these. Now this will be universal for most cars. I think this is a very common problem to have. This isn't something Honda specific. So I think what's happening here is the groove where the trunk door comes in, it comes down here. You see all the debris. So I think it's supposed to run off to the side and then go down. But I think now it's, once again, this is not the first time I've dealt with this, but it's getting in behind. So guys, why do you want to fix this? Well, first of all, if you have a swimming pool in your trunk, you're going to get a smell. But besides that, right where that cap is also the gas tank. And I'm sure you don't want water getting into your fuel. Now, it's been about 6 weeks since the last time I've cleaned my car out because I've been so busy. So obviously this leak is rather substantial. So instead of replacing the taillight gaskets, I'm just going to silicone it. I've already done that before, but I'm going to do it again because it's supposed to be raining for the next few days and I won't be able to get any replacement parts in that amount of time. Alright guys, so you see the green here. This is all mold from this leak. Now, this leak must be pretty prominent. It has been raining fairly heavily the last few days. If you guys park outside and your car is older, then this is something that you're going to have to address at some point because I guarantee you your tail light gaskets are going to start leaking. So with that in mind, what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is the material and tools list for this job, but I think this stuff here will cover you for most vehicles as well. So I have clear silicone, all-purpose remover for tools, socket sets, metric wrenches for this car, knife, plastic scraper, extension cord, silicone gun, and a work light. Guys, this is the material and tools list for this job, so let's get started. Alright, first thing, the plugs can be taken out. And then we have 1, 2, 3 bolts that I believe are all 8mm. At least this bottom one is to start. Okay, so for this light there are 4 bolts. They're all 8mm. So you can see all the debris of it going around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. And then we're going to take a look at a gasket. Alright, so this is the back of the light. You can see the amount of debris at the top here. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up and then I'm going to silicone from down here. So we see the imprint here where it made contact. Now, earlier I said that I noticed a little bit of wetness right here, which means this is probably carrying down somewhere to here and going through. In either case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this all the way around. I'm going to take the other one out, clean that one all the way around, clean around the light, and when I'm ready we'll come back and I'm going to put a small bead of silicone, just a very thin small bead all the way around. You can silicone the living heck out of it if you want, but it's just more work to take it apart later on. Alright, so I once upon a time siliconed this all the way around. You see all the black, that's the gasket that I took with it. So this side wasn't leaking as bad, but again it was leaking as well. So let's take a quick look at the gasket here. So I broke it here, there's a crack over here. I flip it over and then yeah, you can see all the material. This is why I'm not a fan of siliconing it, but if you're going to silicone it, put a very thin bead. But right here, you can see the difference between silicone, which is this one here, and non-silicone. All right, if you need to scrape off silicone, this is what I normally will do, is I will take some all-purpose remover and I'll just go over it. Now, this is already the second time that I've done this, because the first time was before I scraped the first layer away. But guys, when you're scraping away silicone, this is going to be a thing of patience, especially when you don't have a big flat area to work in. Will this stuff affect the paint? I don't know. I don't think so. I doubt it. It's never affected anything else that I've ever used it on. But either to scrape off the silicone, use a sharp utility knife. Be very careful about not scratching the paint. Or you can also use a plastic putty knife and scrape away. But like I said, I would go with scraping and using the silicone, or sorry, the all-purpose remover in tandem until you get down to metal and you have it relatively clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a little more time, and we'll see what I can get this to, because I want to scrape this stuff away before I re-silicone it. Alright, so we have the 4 holes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a very small bead of silicone just around the top, and I'm going to leave the bottom open because anything will drip off. So I'm going to silicone the back end of the gasket. Now we see with this gasket, this here, and it's at the very top. I wonder if that was the reason that this one was leaking. Probably, since it's at the very top. If it was at the bottom, it wouldn't be an issue. Now, like I said, my recommendation is do just a small bead. Alright, so that's our small bead there. And then we'll just fit it back into the holes. So my recommendation is tighten up the one before you go to the other, because the silicone won't take very long to set. And guys, like I always say, since there's 4 bolts, tighten in a star pattern. Alright guys, so I put all the plugs back in. But if you have water in your trunk, more than likely it's going through the taillight gaskets. This is something that is typical for these Civics, but I've seen this many other times as well. I don't have time to get gaskets, so if you put a small bead of silicone, that will hold you over for a while. It's not the ideal way to do it. I would prefer just buy brand new gaskets, but it's raining today, it's going to rain tomorrow, it's going to rain the next day, and this car is parked outside. And if it gets really bad, you can actually short out your lights, because what can happen is the water on the inside can start to come up, eventually get to your bulb, short something out, and then you have bigger problems on your hands. But guys, this is a quick, simple, cost-effective way to do this, and it takes minimal resources. Guys, that is your quick tip of the week.